First, I ask everyone's patience as we learn more about the microphones. Today is June 15th, 2023. The Missouri Public Service Commission has set this time for a local public hearing to give members of the public a chance to comment about Confluence River's utility operating company's general rate increase application. That is captioned filed.
Talk more into the mic.
That is file number WR-2023-0006. The Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The Commission also regulates the quality of service and safety of the operations of public utilities. There are 5 commissioners. They are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners employ a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the field of utility regulation. My name is Charles Hatcher, and I am a regulatory law judge and will preside over this hearing. With me today are Commissioners Kayla Hahn, Commissioners Jason Holzman, Glenn Kolkmeyer, and Maida Coleman. This is an official hearing of the Missouri Public Service Commission, and the statements and testimony of witnesses will be recorded by the court reporter and are given under oath. The commissioners have not made any decisions in this case, and thus they cannot answer any questions today because they have to remain impartial until all the evidence is presented. Let's start with our introduction of counsel for Confluence.
Thank you, Your Honor and Commissioners. David Woodsmall on behalf of Confluence River Utility Operating Company.
Thank you. And for staff?
Carolyn Kerr on behalf of staff, Missouri Public Service Commission.
Thank you. And Office of the Public Counsel?
John Kleiser on behalf of the Office of the Public Counsel.
All right, the process we're going to use today is to call the names that I have on the sign-up list. I have 4 names. I do have information that 2 of those names have gotten their information, I believe have left. I will ask at the end of calling those names if anybody else would like to speak. So to begin with, Wayne Woodworth. Sir, if you could come on down to the podium, I'll swear you in, and then you can give your comments to the commissioners. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Back in 2016, Confluence also put in for an increase in rates as well. And there was letters written to the commission. And at that time, we were paying $23.48.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt so early in your answer. I don't have your name. Would you please?
Oh, Wayne Woodworth. I'm sorry.
Wayne. I'm sorry, Woodworth. I do have your name. I just read it off the list. Yes, thank you. For our court reporter.
Judge, excuse me.
Yes.
Could he get a little bit closer to the microphone?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Bench. That's our court reporter online. She asked if you could move just a little bit closer to the microphone. I'll spell your name W-A-Y-N-E, and the last name is W-O-O-D-W-O-R-T-H.
Correct.
Mr. Woodworth, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Okay. Back in 2016, Confluence requested an increase at that time, and we were paying $23.48 a month. And I know I wrote a letter to the commissioner, and there were several others that wrote letters. And in February, in February of 2017, they were approved for $79.74. Well, that's an increase of $56.26, or 340% increase. That's a huge increase. I don't get that kind of an increase in my wages. I don't know of anybody here that's had a 340% increase in their wages, even over the last 6 years. It was my understanding that that was given and approved to take care of the lagoon. And I know that it was based on what you were already paying, and I know that There were others, at the time it was Villages of Whiteman, and they were paying more than we were, and they had an increase of even more. So I don't know why we're having such a huge increase at that time, and then we want more of an increase now, because right now, my wife and I are on a fixed income. We're Social Security. We'll be lucky to have had 15 or 16% increase over the last 6 years. And if you look at what the economy's doing, I even look back, I keep track of what we spend, and May of last year, we only spent $289.93 on groceries. Well, this year, in May, we spent $635.35, and that's with buying fewer groceries, or a 456% increase. We can't keep having increases and survive. We really can't. And if you take in Villages Whiteman and Villages Lake South and Villages Lake North, and we're the two newest ones in the area, there's roughly 300 houses that should be somewhere around $360,000 a year. I don't know why they can't maintain a lagoon for $360,000 a year.
And Mr. Woodworth, what system do you receive service from?
Pardon?
What's the name of the system that you receive your water and sewer?
Well, it's Villages Lake South, Villages Lake North, and it used to be Villages of Whiteman, but they've changed their name to something else, and something Estates now. I think it's Whiteman Estates.
Thank you. Before you step down, are there any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Colpine.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today to testify. Is this at Knob Noster?
This is in Knob Noster.
Okay, yeah. The Whiteman kind of gave it away, but I was just trying to put it all together where you.
Yeah, if I had a strong enough arm, I could throw a rock and hit the fence of Whiteman Air Force Base.
Okay, thank you. For the court reporter, Commissioner Kochmeyer is asking the question. So
yeah, I'm probably about 100 yards from the gate or the fence that surrounds Whiteman Air Force Base.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodworth. Next, I have David Brown. And Mr. Brown's name is common spelling of David, D-A-V-I-D, as well as Brown, B-R-O-W-N. Mr. Brown, I need to swear you in before you give your testimony. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please go ahead with your statement.
Some of these statements I made earlier today, I really don't have many questions. I was at the Monday night hearing as well, so I appreciate the opportunity. The first thing is there was a sworn testimony by a Mr. Jordan Seaver of the OPC, Office of Public Counsel, on June 8th, last week. In that document, he proposes several rate options to the PSC. In those options on pages, I think starting on page 5, there were two options that really stand out is the water rate, the one unmetered option 2 rate of a $21 increase, and then for sewer is a one sewer option 2 of a $17 increase, and that is his final recommendations as far as unmetered services go. We fall into that category within the missing well. We are not metered. Confluence is already in the process of laying pipe to be able to connect to the rural water that we have available in right there in Benton County. It's actually coming from Henry County Water District. Monday night, questions were asked about metered service. Confluence River was really unable to give us a timeline as to when metered service could be provided. It was stated that they really don't have a price for the meters because that changes daily, and they're having a very difficult time even getting meters. So we don't have a timeline to when metered service would even be provided. Additionally, the sewer lagoon we have now is an unpermitted lagoon. It, of course, does not meet any DNR standards for a sewer operation. They stated here today that this would be a small package waste plant eventually, which, you know, there's going to be a better option for that sewer plant, and then a final a treatment tank so that the outflow would not have bacteria. One thing to take in consideration of that sewer lagoon today is the outflow does flow down a ditch under the one of the roads and into a property owner's private pond. So there is some concern there. The other thing I mentioned that is basically how we got here in the first place was the original developers failed the community in not drilling a community well. They had a non-compliant residential well that they started with. It was permitted as a non-compliant well designed to only support 15 houses. I believe that was the right number. Eventually, one of the other homeowners on the north side of the property drilled a well, paid for it, another multi-residential well, and then gifted it to the association. The association sued the developers, and in that case, which was settled on June 9th, 2009, Mr. Kleiser has a copy of that, but that's case number 05BE-CC 00040. In that case, the developer was ordered to bring the water and sewer up to existing standards, and they failed to do so, or he failed to do so. One of the developers, Glenn Bain, passed away on the date of the first scheduled court date. Then they rescheduled, and then it was Barry Hurst that was the remaining developer. So in 2009, when he was ordered to do that, he was also fined $10,000. He paid the fine and then failed to do anything else with the water and sewer. And then he passed away about 2 years ago. That's where we got to the position with DNR that they were forcing us to either do it ourselves, doing it meaning drill a community well, bring the sewer up to today's standards, or sell the operation, which we did sell to Confluence Rivers. That's about all I have. Is there anyone have any questions?
Are there any commissioner questions?
Just one.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. This is Commissioner Holzman. How long ago did you sell the system?
They took over operations in April of last year.
April of last year. Have you seen any investment into the?
Not until 2 weeks ago when they started laying pipe to connect to the rural water.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I want to confirm, you said you're in the missing well service area?
Yes, I'm president of the HOA.
Okay. Mr. Kleiser?
Your Honor, as Mr. Brown indicated, he, after the Q&A session, was kind enough to provide me a copy of the final judgment issued in the case that he referenced in his testimony. I was going to ask whether or not Mr. Brown was interested in offering that as an exhibit to the hearing, and whether or not you would be whether the commission would be interested in receiving that as an exhibit.
Absolutely. If you'd like, I will be happy to let you two discuss it afterwards to figure out, are you suggesting he offer it now as an exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys needed to talk first. Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to return it to him if you would, and if you would like to, I was going to offer that we enter it as an exhibit to the hearing.
I'm following now. Go ahead. Sometimes it just takes me a minute to get there.
Yes, I'd be happy to offer it.
Excellent. Could you please bring that forward to me, and I'll take care of that and file that as an exhibit. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I don't have a problem with the commission receiving this. I just want to make clear that
the court order that you're looking at all involves matters that occurred prior to Confluence River taking over this system and the problems they had with getting this system up to speed. I just want to make sure that the commission knows that didn't involve Confluence River.
Absolutely, he just,
And
yes, he just went over
I
that.
would definitely agree with that. There were numerous article or letters that I wrote to the Department of Natural Resources making complaints that nothing was ever followed up on based on that case. DNR never really followed it up. All they did was put it on our shoulders. The state of Missouri never followed up, so.
Commissioner Coleman.
Mr. Brown, can you remind me when that court case was settled?
I think it's dated, stamped 2009.
2009. And Mr. Woodsmall, Confluence acquired when?
It's my understanding, and Mr. Cox can probably speak to this exactly, but it's less than 2 years.
2 years. And
Yeah,
Mr. Brown, you mentioned that within the last 2 weeks, you've seen some work, but nothing prior to that.
Correct.
Commissioner Coleman, I've received better information, and it's slightly less than 1 year that Confluence acquired Missing Well.
They acquired, and we signed the papers of April of last year.
April. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Colkman.
Yes. Excuse me. Thank you, Judge. Am I remembering right? You're at Bolivar?
No, we're actually in Benton County, right on the edge of Henry and Benton County off of 7 Highway.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm fairly
You know where
familiar.
Truman Lake Opry is?
Yes.
We're right north of there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for my pronunciation of the last name. Julie Sieving?
Spell it.
S-I-E-V-I-N-G. Also, it could be S-I-E-U-I-N-G, although that would be much harder to pronounce. Is there anyone named Julie that would like to testify? Okay, that's consistent with the information I was told, that there's a couple people that had gotten their answers to their questions. Kyla Hernick, H-E-R.
Your Honor, his name is Kyle Herrick, and I went to school with him, and he's left.
Okay, thank you, sir. As promised, if anyone did not pre-sign up, I don't want to exclude you. The commission would like to hear your testimony. If anyone is here and would like to offer their testimony, please come on up to the microphone. Fair warning, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to close the hearing. You'll have other opportunities. We have 4 more hearings, including tomorrow, some on WebEx, and I'll be giving instructions on how to submit written comments. I'm not seeing anyone rise to come to the microphone. Let's go to ending our hearing then. Are there any closing remarks from any commissioners? Commissioner Holzman?
Just want to thank everybody for testifying today. I hope the question and answer session was productive, and we look forward to the continuation of these hearings in the next couple days. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Again, thank you for coming.
And I echo that as well. I do want to thank everyone for standing up the microphone. That takes guts. Also, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of the middle of their day to come and do this. I know it's not anyone's favorite activity, but we do appreciate it. If you would like to comment or know of someone who would like to comment and they were not able to be here, you may still make written comments on the case. Go to the website, the PSC website, psc.mo.gov. In the upper right-hand corner, I believe it says submit comments. Make sure to include this rate case number. It ends in 0006. It's WR-2023-0006. This hearing is now, I'm sorry, I normally get out the email for OPC. If anyone would like to contact the Office of Public Counsel, their email address is mopco@opc.mo.gov. Seeing no other matters coming up before the body, we are adjourned And we are off.